If your miracle still hasn't arrived, stay with me until the end. St. Anthony is already prepared to surprise you. You who are weary from praying and watching nothing change. You who carry the heavy weight of a financial emergency, the heartbreak of family pain, or the suffocating grip of impossible circumstances. This is no accident. This is divine timing. Through this very powerful prayer to St. Anthony, the chains that bound your hope will begin to break, and what once felt lost will start to return. This is the moment your miracle begins. The silent tears you've hidden, the fears you've carried in secret. St. Anthony has seen them all. He's not watching from afar, he's walking toward you with heaven's authority. Whether you are seeking healing, family restoration, or answers to impossible requests, you are not alone. Let your heart open again to the God of miracles and to the saint who never stops interceding. If you believe this prayer can shift your life today, whisper with faith, Saint Anthony, bring the miracle I need now. O Saint Anthony of Padua, tireless intercessor and gentle friend of desperate hearts, I come before you carrying burdens too heavy for me alone. You have witnessed urgent miracles, debts erased, and broken homes restored. Look upon my financial emergency with compassion and bring divine provision where there is lack. I place my impossible requests into your hands, trusting that what no human can change, heaven can. Let this be the miraculous prayer to St. Anthony that turns my fear into faith. I believe your holy presence can shift what seems unmovable. Beloved St. Anthony, I entrust to you the wounds in my family, the broken connections, and the distance between hearts. You are the patron not only of lost things, but of lost peace, lost love, and family restoration. Carry my cry to the throne of Jesus and release healing like a river into my home. Let every wall of division crumble through this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles. May forgiveness replace bitterness and unity replace silence. I choose to believe that what has been torn apart can be made whole again. Holy miracle worker, I ask for your urgent help in every place my strength has failed. Where there is sickness, bring healing. Where there is poverty, bring financial advancement. Where there is conflict, bring peace and reconciliation. Let this infallible prayer to Saint Anthony transform my impossible requests into testimonies of God's love and power. I will remain steadfast in prayer until the answer comes, knowing that my faith is the key that unlocks my blessing, and when it arrives, I will give all glory to God and gratitude to you, Saint Anthony. The beginning of the miracle. When the heart is heavy, it is easy to believe that God has forgotten your name. But through this prayer to Saint Anthony, you are reminded that heaven's silence is not absence. It is preparation. Every tear you've cried has been counted. Every sigh has been heard. This moment is not the end of your story. It is the turning point. The very powerful prayer to St. Anthony carries the weight of centuries of answered petitions, and today it carries yours. Even in the darkest valley, light is on its way. In times of financial emergency, when bills pile higher than hope, remember this. St. Anthony is not only the patron of lost things, he is the saint of divine solutions. He has placed opportunities into the hands of those who had nothing left, opened doors where walls stood solid. This miraculous prayer to St. Anthony is an invitation to welcome divine provision into your life. You do not need to understand how it will happen. You only need to believe it will. Faith is the seed. God provides the rain. Your impossible requests are not too much for heaven. Often we limit our prayers to what seems reasonable, but God is not limited by reason. Saint Anthony has seen homes rebuilt after disaster, debts vanish without explanation, and relationships reconciled after years of silence. This impossible prayer that works is an act of courage. It tells God, "I believe you can do what no one else can." Ask boldly, for faith thrives when stretched beyond logic. If your family feels like it's slipping apart, lift them up in this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles. Family restoration is one of the most beautiful works of grace because it does not just bring people back under the same roof, it heals the pain that drove them apart. Saint Anthony's intercession plants seeds of peace where only bitterness grew. Let those seeds take root and be watered by daily prayer until they bloom into unity. Love will have the final say. Some blessings come in an instant, others grow slowly and quietly. If you are in a season of waiting, understand that waiting is not wasted time. It is holy ground. The urgent help you have been asking for is already in motion. This is why you must remain in prayer, because the answer may come at the moment you least expect it. Saint Anthony works in harmony with divine timing, and that timing is always perfect. If sickness is in your life or in the life of someone you love, let this moment be a declaration of healing. Speak life into the situation, not fear. Saint Anthony has seen diseases vanish and strength return to bodies once declared beyond cure. The miraculous prayer today is not dependent on the size of your faith, but on the greatness of God's mercy. Whisper the name of the one in need and believe that wholeness is already on its way. Debt can feel like invisible chains, draining your strength and joy. But through this prayer to Saint Anthony, chains of lack can break. Financial advancement is not about sudden luck. It is about God aligning opportunities in your path. You may not see the connection now, but provision will come in ways you never imagined. Heaven's math is not like ours. Where we see shortage, God sees abundance waiting to be released. When every effort fails, surrender is the path forward. Surrender is not giving up. It is handing the weight to the one who can carry it. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony is a bridge between your need and God's answer. Your part is to walk across that bridge in faith, trusting that what awaits on the other side is better than anything you could create on your own. Some people say, "I prayed before and nothing happened." But persistence in prayer is like filling a jar one drop at a time. Eventually, it overflows. The prayer that works instantly is not about magic words. It is about a heart that refuses to quit. Every word you speak today adds weight to the answer that is already forming in heaven. Saint Anthony stands beside you, adding his own petitions to yours. Have you lost something precious? A relationship, a job, your peace of mind? The prayer to Saint Anthony has a way of restoring not only what was lost, but making it even better than before. Restoration in God's hands is always an upgrade. Let the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony breathe life into the ashes of your loss. Believe that nothing is too far gone for God to redeem. Words carry power. Speak your impossible requests with the confidence of someone who already holds the answer. This powerful Catholic prayer for miracles is your opportunity to declare out loud what you are believing for. Heaven responds to faith-filled words, and Saint Anthony is listening. Let your voice join the chorus of those who have seen their lives transformed through this devotion. Fear is a thief. It tells you your problem is too big, your faith too small, your past too stained. But the urgent miracle you need is not earned. It is a gift of grace. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony silences fear and replaces it with truth. You are loved, you are seen, and your case matters to God. Grace is the currency of heaven, and it is freely given. A forgiving heart is a healed heart. If resentment is rooted in you, ask Saint Anthony to help you release it. Family restoration flourishes in soil free from bitterness. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony makes room for peace to take root where hurt once lived. Let forgiveness be the doorway through which reconciliation walks into your life. Delays can be discouraging, but often they are divine strategy. What feels like nothing happening is actually God aligning every detail for your blessing. The miraculous prayer today invites you to trust that process. Saint Anthony is not rushing, he is perfecting the answer. Your waiting has purpose, even when you cannot see it. When despair is loud, prayer speaks louder. The prayer to Saint Anthony lifts your spirit above the noise of hopelessness. It is a reminder that light still shines, even if the night feels long. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony keeps you connected to that light until the dawn of your miracle. Generosity in the middle of lack is a seed for future abundance. Even in a financial emergency, find a way to bless someone else. Through this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, ask for the wisdom to give where it matters most. Saint Anthony knows that giving and receiving are linked in God's economy. Anxious thoughts can drown out faith. When your mind is restless, the impossible prayer that works becomes an anchor. Even before the words leave your mouth, Saint Anthony is already lifting your needs to heaven. Hold on, the tide is turning. Testimonies are meant to be shared. When your blessing arrives, tell others about it. Your story of answered prayer through the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony may be exactly what someone else needs to believe again. Every miracle has a ripple effect. True peace is not the absence of problems, but the presence of God within them. The prayer to Saint Anthony invites that peace to fill your home, your mind, and your relationships. Healing is not only physical, it is emotional and spiritual as well. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony reaches into every hidden wound, restoring what life has broken. Let this first mystery be your reminder. Every great miracle begins with a single step of faith. This powerful Catholic prayer for miracles is that step for you today. Saint Anthony is already on the move, carrying your name to heaven's throne. Believe it, declare it, hold it close to your heart. If you believe Saint Anthony has heard you and that the urgent miracle you need is already on its way, declare now, "Glory to God, my blessing is coming." Walking through the waiting. There is a sacred kind of strength in waiting. Not the kind that simply marks time, but the kind that trusts when the answer feels far away. Through this prayer to Saint Anthony, the waiting becomes preparation. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony reminds you that heaven's timing is neither rushed nor late. It arrives at the exact moment when the miracle will have the greatest impact. Trust this truth, even when silence feels heavy. Many give up too soon, stepping away from prayer just before the blessing arrives. The impossible prayer that works calls you to stay in faith until the very last moment. Saint Anthony knows how to bring resolution at the perfect hour. You are not abandoned in the waiting, you are being positioned for greater favor. Every delay holds a purpose that will one day make sense. In a financial emergency, patience can feel like a burden, but it is often the soil where provision begins to grow. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony invites divine strategy into your situation. Saint Anthony has been known to place opportunities in the paths of those who thought all doors were closed. Waiting is not wasted when it's filled with prayer and expectation. Family restoration is rarely instant. It's a process of softening hearts, healing wounds, and rebuilding trust. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles works layer by layer, dismantling pride, washing away resentment, and planting seeds of reconciliation. Even if you don't see visible change yet, trust that St. Anthony is already working in places you cannot reach. The enemy wants you to think nothing is happening, but heaven often moves in ways unseen. The urgent help you've been asking for may already be in motion in the spiritual realm. The prayer that works instantly does not always bring visible results in a moment, but it does begin shifting the atmosphere around your request from the first word you speak. When sickness lingers, it's tempting to lose hope. But this healing mystery reminds you that persistence is a form of faith. St. Anthony walks alongside the sick, carrying their names to the throne of God. The miraculous prayer today is your declaration that no illness is beyond the reach of divine mercy. Speak life daily until healing becomes your testimony. Debt and scarcity can make waiting feel endless, but financial advancement often comes to those who remain faithful in small things. The prayer to St. Anthony can lead you to wise decisions, open doors, and unexpected provision. God often uses the waiting season to prepare you for blessings you could not yet handle. The infallible prayer to St. Anthony is not a one-time event. It is a daily choice to remain aligned with heaven's plan. Each day, you choose faith over fear. You keep your spirit in position to receive. The blessing you are waiting for is not only about the result, it's about who you become in the process. Your impossible requests may seem tangled and unresolvable, but heaven specializes in untangling the knots of life. This impossible prayer that works exists for exactly these situations. Nothing is too complex for the God who created the universe, and nothing is too broken for St. Anthony to present before him. The waiting room of heaven is never empty. It's filled with angels working, people shifting, and events aligning for your good. The very powerful prayer to St. Anthony gives you the patience to remain still while God moves. Even if you feel stuck, your miracle is moving toward you. Gratitude is a powerful weapon during the wait. When bitterness tries to creep in, replace it with thanks for what God has already done. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles unlocks new blessings when prayed with a thankful heart. Gratitude turns your focus from what is missing to what is already present. When praying for family restoration, visualize it as though it has already happened. Imagine the smiles, the conversations, the love renewed. The miraculous prayer to St. Anthony is more than words. It is creating a vision in your heart that God can bring to life. The urgent miracle you are believing for may not arrive in the way you expect. Often, God's answers are better than anything you imagined. The prayer to St. Anthony aligns your desires with his perfect will, so that when the answer comes, you will know it's the right one. Healing is not just for the body. It is also for the mind, burdened by worry, and the heart weighed down by sorrow. The very powerful prayer to St. Anthony calls God's peace into every area of your being. Sometimes the first miracle is the calm that arrives before the cure. In times of financial emergency, fear can push you toward desperate choices. The infallible prayer to St. Anthony steadies your spirit, reminding you that provision comes from trust, not panic. Even in scarcity, you are under divine care. Your impossible requests may be invisible to others, but they are known in heaven. The prayer that works instantly ensures your petitions are carried directly to the throne of God. Saint Anthony delivers them with urgency, knowing every second matters to you. Faith grows deep roots in quiet seasons. The miraculous prayer today helps you endure without losing hope. What you cannot yet see is being prepared for you behind the scenes. If the wait feels endless, remember, God is not only preparing your blessing, He is preparing you to keep it. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles shapes your character so that when the answer comes, it remains a lasting testimony. The urgent help of Saint Anthony is like a guiding light in the dark hallway toward your breakthrough. You may not see the open door yet, but you can follow the light step by step. Comparison is the enemy of patience. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony reminds you that your timing is unique. No one else can receive what God has specifically prepared for you. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony teaches that the process is part of the promise. The journey through the waiting will make the testimony even sweeter. When weariness comes, speak your faith aloud. Declare that your impossible requests are already in motion. The prayer to Saint Anthony anchors your spirit in truth when doubt tries to pull you away. If you believe that the wait is not wasted and that Saint Anthony is already working in your favor, speak now. Glory to God, my miracle is worth the wait. Strengthening the faith that sustains the miracle. Faith is the bridge between your prayer and your miracle. Without it, even the most desperate cry can feel empty. With it, even the most impossible requests begin to take shape in reality. Through this prayer to Saint Anthony, you are building an unshakable foundation for your blessing. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony is not about what you see, but about what you trust. When fear enters, faith must rise. Fear says your financial emergency will last forever, your health will never improve, your family restoration will never happen. But the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony speaks louder, declaring that God can reverse every situation in His perfect timing. Faith does not ignore the problem. It declares that the problem will not win. Saint Anthony has witnessed countless impossible requests fulfilled, not because the people were perfect, but because they dared to believe. This impossible prayer that works is a bold act of courage. Even faith the size of a mustard seed is enough when it is placed in the hands of a limitless God. When you pray for family restoration, picture the love stronger than it ever was. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles does not return relationships in the same fragile state. It rebuilds them to withstand future storms. This is the difference between human effort and divine restoration. Faith in financial advancement means trusting that God's provision will come, even when the numbers look impossible. The prayer to Saint Anthony aligns your life with opportunities that arrive by divine orchestration, not by chance. Saint Anthony knows exactly which doors to open for you. The urgent help you need is never beyond heaven's reach. Through the infallible prayer to Saint Anthony, barriers begin to shift. Faith is not pretending the mountain isn't there. It's knowing the mountain can move. For healing, faith is not simply wishing, it is expecting. The miraculous prayer today invites you to speak life into your body, mind, and spirit. Expectation pulls your miracle closer, and Saint Anthony has carried countless healing petitions to God's throne. Faith also means surrender, releasing your timeline and embracing God's. The prayer that works instantly often moves fastest when you stop trying to control the outcome. That's when St. Anthony can work freely on your behalf. Your impossible requests are seeds in the soil of faith. Some grow quickly, Others take time, but all are nourished by daily prayer. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony waters those seeds until they bear fruit. In times of financial emergency, faith keeps you from making desperate, harmful choices. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony teaches you to pause, listen, and follow divine guidance. Many blessings are missed because people move too soon. When storms hit your family, faith becomes the anchor that holds you steady. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles is like a lighthouse guiding your loved ones back home. Saint Anthony has been that light for countless families in need of peace. Faith will be tested, but every test is a testimony in the making. Through the infallible prayer to Saint Anthony, trials turn into triumphs. God does not waste your struggles. He shapes you through them. For those seeking healing, faith says the process has already begun. The miraculous prayer today affirms that your breakthrough is in motion before symptoms disappear. God's mercy is not limited by medical timelines. Faith transforms financial advancement from wishful thinking into confident expectation. The prayer to Saint Anthony helps you recognize the doors God has opened so you can walk through them with courage. The urgent miracle you seek is shaped by the faith you hold. The prayer that works instantly doesn't force God's hand. It aligns your heart so you can receive His best, even if it comes differently than expected. Faith is strengthened through repetition. Each time you pray the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony, your trust grows deeper. Persistence builds a foundation that cannot be shaken by delays. Your impossible requests are not too bold for God. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony proves that heaven welcomes even your greatest, most daring petitions. Faith calls them possible before they appear. When doubt whispers, faith responds with promises. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony declares that unseen progress is just as real as what you can see. Heaven is already aligning your answer. In family restoration, faith holds hope together. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles does not simply mend relationships, it transforms them into lasting bonds of love and respect. Faith in financial advancement believes that blessings will arrive without compromising your integrity. The prayer to Saint Anthony invites honest provision that enriches without bringing hidden burdens. Healing through faith often includes the strength to endure while waiting for full recovery. The miraculous prayer today assures that grace will carry you every step of the way until restoration is complete. The urgent help of Saint Anthony moves faster than you think. The prayer that works instantly draws tomorrow's miracle into today's expectation. Faith's greatest act is gratitude before the answer comes. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony teaches you to thank God in advance, sealing the miracle in trust. If you believe your faith is growing stronger right now and that Saint Anthony is securing your miracle, declare with confidence, "Glory to God, my faith is unshakable," surrendering completely to divine providence. Surrender is the highest form of faith. It is saying, "God, I trust you more than I trust my own plan." Through this prayer to Saint Anthony, you release the weight you were never meant to carry. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony reminds you that surrender is not weakness. It is the doorway to miracles. Many believe they must control every detail of their lives, but breakthroughs often come when we let go. The impossible prayer that works is not about forcing an outcome. It's about creating space for heaven to move freely. Saint Anthony works best when your heart is open and your hands are unclenched. If you are facing a financial emergency, surrender means trusting that God will open doors no human could. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony brings peace as you wait for provision, replacing anxiety with expectancy. In surrender, fear loses its grip. In family restoration, surrender means allowing God to heal in His way, not yours. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles teaches us that some wounds require time and divine precision to mend. Saint Anthony's intercession ensures each step is taken with grace. When you need urgent help, surrender keeps you from panic. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony reminds you that God is never too late. Every moment of waiting holds unseen preparation for your blessing. Surrender often marks the beginning of healing. It means releasing the fear of never recovering. The miraculous prayer today replaces that fear with hope, inviting God's restoring touch into every part of your being. To surrender is to admit your impossible requests are beyond human strength. The prayer that works instantly is a confession of faith. I cannot, but God can. Saint Anthony carries that confession straight to heaven. When seeking financial advancement, surrender invites divine strategies you may never have considered. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony can open opportunities disguised as challenges. Family restoration after years of silence may seem too far gone, but the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony teaches that no heart is too hard for God to soften. Surrender allows Him to work without your interference. The urgent help you seek may arrive through an unexpected path. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony gives you the courage to trust even steps you don't understand. Surrender is also about timing. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles reminds us that God's clock and ours rarely match, yet His is always right. When praying for healing, surrender allows you to rest instead of striving. The miraculous prayer today reminds you that peace often arrives before the cure. Surrender turns a financial emergency into a testimony. Through the prayer to Saint Anthony, many have seen resources arrive from completely unexpected places. Impossible requests are heaven's specialty. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony invites God to move beyond reason, beyond human limitation. When praying for family restoration, surrender prevents you from pushing too hard and causing more harm. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony creates space for genuine reconciliation. If you long for financial advancement, surrender your career, your plans, and your ambitions into God's hands. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony has opened doors for those who thought opportunities were gone forever. Sometimes urgent help requires letting go entirely. The prayer that works instantly works most powerfully in hearts free from fear and full of trust. Surrender in healing means allowing God to address the unseen wounds as well as the visible pain. The miraculous prayer today heals the soul as much as the body. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles can transform a financial emergency into an opportunity for divine provision. Surrender allows you to see blessings where others see obstacles. Your impossible requests are safest in God's hands. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony assures you they will never be forgotten or misplaced. Family restoration rooted in surrender lasts. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony rebuilds relationships with deep, lasting trust. For financial advancement, surrender allows God to position you at the right place at the right time. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony has been the key to countless breakthroughs. In moments of deep need for urgent help, surrender brings calm before the answer arrives. The prayer that works instantly shines brightest in surrendered hearts. If you desire complete healing, surrender every diagnosis and every fear to God. The miraculous prayer today offers renewal far beyond physical recovery. Let this mystery remind you, surrender is not the end. It is the beginning of miracles. Through the powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, Saint Anthony carries your yielded heart to heaven. If you believe that surrendering your plans today will unlock your blessing tomorrow, declare with faith, "Glory to God, I trust completely," trusting fully in the miracle. Already in motion, trust is the final step that transforms prayer into testimony. Through this prayer to Saint Anthony, you move from simply asking to resting in full assurance. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony is not only about presenting your needs, it is about believing without hesitation that heaven is already acting on your behalf. Doubt will try to convince you nothing is happening. Faith declares the unseen is already shifting. The impossible prayer that works delivers your petitions to heaven, and Saint Anthony ensures they are heard and handled with divine urgency. When a financial emergency presses in, trust becomes the shield that protects your heart from panic. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony invites you to believe that provision is on the way, even if your current situation still looks unchanged. Family restoration requires trust, sometimes more than any other miracle. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles calls you to believe that hearts can soften, relationships can heal, and love can be renewed, even when the signs are not yet visible. If you need urgent help, trust allows you to stay calm while heaven works behind the scenes. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony assures you that divine timing is flawless. For those seeking healing, trust means expecting improvement even on days when you feel weak. The miraculous prayer today declares that strength and recovery are already on their way to you. Your impossible requests are never too great for God. The prayer that works instantly proves that heaven moves beyond human limits, working in ways you may not imagine. When praying for financial advancement, trust ensures that the right opportunities, not just any opportunities, come to you. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony aligns you with blessings meant for your growth. In family restoration, trust helps you avoid forcing outcomes. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony creates peace and healing before the reunion even happens. Even in a financial emergency, trust invites creativity from heaven. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles has brought provision to many who chose to believe rather than fear. Urgent help may arrive disguised as a challenge. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony prepares your heart to recognize the blessing, even when it comes in unexpected form. For healing, trust is medicine for the soul. The miraculous prayer today carries peace into your spirit long before full recovery is complete. Trust in impossible requests shifts your perspective from if to when. The prayer that works instantly affirms that God's answer is certain in His time. When praying for financial advancement, trust means taking each step with confidence that God is guiding you. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony opens doors meant for your hands alone. Family restoration grounded in trust lasts longer than reconciliation built on pressure. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony fosters love that remains steady through trials. Even when urgent help feels delayed, trust whispers, God is still working. Nditi, the infallible prayer to Saint Anthony, guarantees that no sincere prayer is ignored. For healing, trust lets you breathe in peace instead of tension. The miraculous prayer today reminds you that God's care is constant, even when symptoms linger. Trust in your impossible requests allows you to rest without fear of loss. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles lifts the burden from your heart and places it in God's keeping. In financial advancement, trust transforms obstacles into open doors. The prayer to Saint Anthony turns delays into divine setups for greater breakthroughs. For family restoration, trust is choosing love over pride. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony builds forgiveness as the foundation for lasting unity. When you need urgent help, trust says, God's way is better than mine. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony proves this truth time and again. Healing through trust does not deny pain. It declares that pain will not have the final word. The miraculous prayer today holds fast to that hope. Your impossible requests are not late, not lost, not forgotten. The prayer that works instantly works because God's plan is perfect in both process and timing. Trust is choosing to believe that even in silence, God is speaking. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony assures your heart that heaven never forgets a faithful petition. When a financial emergency tries to shake you, trust reminds you of every time God has provided before. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony transforms fear into expectation. If you believe your miracle is already in motion and you will see it fulfilled, declare right now, "Glory to God, I trust completely in the miracle." May the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, fill your heart and your home right now. Through this prayer to Saint Anthony, every shadow of fear is replaced with the light of faith. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony declares that your future is held in the hands of a loving God. No matter how dark the night, the dawn of your miracle is near. I bless your home with harmony, love, and joy. Through the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony, may every corner be filled with peace, every table with provision, and every heart with gratitude. Let your dwelling be a sanctuary where God's presence is felt in every moment. For those in a financial emergency, I bless your hands to receive unexpected provision. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles declares that scarcity will give way to abundance. May your resources multiply, your debts dissolve, and your opportunities expand without sorrow attached. I bless your family with unity and restoration. Through the infallible prayer to Saint Anthony, may every broken bond be healed and every silent distance be bridged with love. Let forgiveness take root so that reconciliation can flourish. I speak healing over your body, mind, and spirit. The miraculous prayer today calls for wholeness from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. No sickness, pain, or weakness will have the final word over your life. May your impossible requests be met with heaven's perfect answer. The prayer that works instantly declares that what seemed unreachable will now be within your grasp. Your testimony will inspire faith in others. For those seeking financial advancement, I bless your work, your ideas, and your decisions. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony affirms that your efforts will bear fruit in the right season. May divine opportunities find you without delay. I bless you with urgent help exactly when you need it most. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony sets heaven in motion to send timely, precise, and sufficient assistance for your need. You will not be abandoned in your moment of crisis. I bless your faith to remain strong even when the evidence seems lacking. Through the powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, your trust will not be shaken by delays, doubts, or distractions. Hold on, the answer is coming. I bless your children, your spouse, and all your loved ones with divine protection. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony declares that they will walk in safety, wisdom, and God's unending love. May peace surround them wherever they go. For every tear you've shed in secret, I bless you with joy overflowing. The miraculous prayer today turns mourning into dancing and pain into testimony. What was meant to harm you will become a source of blessing. I declare restoration over everything the enemy has tried to take from you. Through the prayer to Saint Anthony, you will not only recover what was lost, but gain even more than before. I bless your decisions with divine clarity and direction. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony will guide you so that every step is ordered and fruitful. Confusion will give way to certainty. I speak peace over your nights and hope over your mornings. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles assures you that you are never walking alone. Saint Anthony is interceding for you every day. May this blessing rest upon your life, your family, and your future. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony will be the foundation on which you stand, carrying you from this moment into a future full of grace, faith, and miracles. May the Lord's favor surround you like a shield, protecting you from every attack of the enemy. Through the very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, may every scheme against you be turned into an opportunity for growth and victory. I bless your faith, so it will never wither, no matter the storms you face. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony declares that your trust will be rewarded and your heart will be filled with unshakable peace. May your financial emergency be transformed into a testimony of divine provision. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles assures you that God can open sources of income you never imagined existed. I bless your relationships with renewed love and understanding. Through the infallible prayer to Saint Anthony, may grudges be erased, wounds be healed, and reconciliation bring joy to your home. May healing flow into every part of your being. The miraculous prayer today calls for strength in your body, clarity in your mind, and peace in your soul. I bless your impossible requests, knowing that with God, nothing is beyond reach. The prayer that works instantly affirms that your petitions are already in motion toward fulfillment. May your work be fruitful and your efforts multiply. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony will open doors for financial advancement that no one can shut. I bless you with urgent help in your most pressing needs. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony guarantees that assistance will arrive right on time, never too late, never too little. May your nights be free from anxiety and your mornings filled with hope. Through the powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, you will rise each day with renewed strength. I bless your home to be a place where love reigns and joy overflows. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony will ensure peace resides in every room and harmony fills every conversation. May every setback turn into a setup for your breakthrough. The miraculous prayer today reminds you that God can use every delay to prepare something greater. I bless your vision to see beyond the present circumstances. The prayer to Saint Anthony will help you recognize opportunities even in the most unlikely places. May your heart be guarded against doubt and discouragement. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony reinforces your courage to keep believing until the answer comes. I bless your children and loved ones with divine guidance. Through the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony, may they walk in wisdom and protection every single day. May your financial emergency be met with miraculous provision. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles ensures that resources flow to you without adding sorrow. I bless you with patience in the waiting and joy in the process. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony teaches that God's timing is worth trusting. May healing touch the hidden wounds no one else sees. The miraculous prayer today promises that even the deepest scars can be restored to beauty. I bless your faith to believe for the impossible requests without hesitation. The prayer that works instantly declares that nothing is too great for God to accomplish. May your dreams align perfectly with God's will for your life. The very powerful prayer to St. Anthony ensures that every step you take leads you closer to your divine purpose. I bless you with urgent help that arrives exactly when needed. The miraculous prayer to St. Anthony will make sure that you are never abandoned in your moment of need. May your testimony inspire others to believe in miracles. Through the powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, your story will be proof of God's love and St. Anthony's powerful intercession. What if today is the turning point in your story? What if this very prayer to St. Anthony becomes the day your impossible requests begin to manifest? Are you willing to believe that heaven is already working in your favor? Will you choose faith over fear, trust over doubt, and gratitude over worry? The very powerful prayer to St. Anthony is your invitation to step into a new chapter where God's promises are your reality. Imagine looking back and saying, that was the moment everything began to change. If you truly believe your urgent miracle is already on the way, how will you speak, think, and live differently from this day forward? Your attitude today shapes the testimony you will share tomorrow. Do not keep this blessing to yourself. Someone you know is in desperate need of hope, of family restoration, of financial advancement, of healing. Share this prayer so they too can witness the power of God through St. Anthony's intercession. If this miraculous prayer to St. Anthony touched your heart, type Amen in the comments as a public declaration of your faith. Your words could be the spark that reignites someone else's hope, like this video, so it can reach more hearts that need this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles. Every share, every like, and every comment becomes a seed planted in someone else's journey of faith. Subscribe to this channel so that you never miss another moment of prayer and blessing. Together, we will build a community of believers ready to see impossible requests become living testimonies. Share this prayer with your family, friends, and anyone in need of urgent help. You may be the very reason they receive the breakthrough they have been waiting for.